There we go. Hello, hello. Welcome back to Rolling Line. Welcome to Rugby 2.0. So, I've managed to find satellite imagery from 2002, the end of 2002, which is much, much closer than the present day, and also manages to show off rugby as it was before they completely overhauled the station. Not only that, you can see the birdcage still in existence in 2002, and the old cattle markets are still in existence as well, which is awesome. So, I mean, this whole area has been, redeveloped in the last 20 odd years. In fact, rugby has grown quite big in the last 20 years. But this is a nice sort of shot of the approach from the west through the station and then starting to head out towards the east. And that is what I've been busy working on for the last couple of days. So I have started afresh, as you can see, and I've reconsidered how I've gone about the station a little bit, and I decided to try and put in all the other lines leading into the station directly to give me a bit more sense of scale around the station itself, get all the side loops in, and this is where I've got to so far. Let me very quickly bring the satellite imagery over. And turn on a TV screen feed. There we go. So, this is rugby as it is now. If we skip to the end. There we go. That's the most up-to-date version of rugby. So you can see the station has been redeveloped. It's got an extra platform here now that didn't used to exist. There's a small platform here as well as the two main platforms. The birdcage is gone, no longer exists. The cattle market has been completely redeveloped. So is the front of the station and this little area around here on Railway Terrace. And rugby as a general area is so much more built up as well. I mean, up here, none of this existed when I when I used to live in Rugby when I was a kid. And certainly none of this up here as well. Brownsover's grown as well, this whole area. It kind of stopped. This area here is all new, and this area here is new as well. That didn't used to exist. I can go back in time a bit, so you can see there, that's 2004. I left in the beginning of 2001, so all of that area there didn't exist. None of this up here existed. You can just see they're just starting to build that in 2004. None of this is here. They're starting to build this area up a little bit more. This all happened shortly after I left. There is 1985 imagery, but unfortunately not for where I want it. Which would have been perfect. 1985 imagery would have been absolutely perfect. I would have been a little kid in 1985, and I really would have been able to go back in time to my childhood. But as you can see, there's just no satellite imagery. There is, however, imagery from 1945, from way before I was born. And wow, rugby is so different. This is where I used to live, here on Linnell Road. Didn't exist in the 40s. None of this area existed. I grew up, on in this little area here. Lower Hill Morton Road wasn't really built out. It wasn't even there. As you can see, just no road at all. It's just fields. It was like a single lane road here. And I think that got redeveloped into maybe just the satellite imagery is off a little bit. But Yeah, this was Lower Hill Morton Road here, just a single lane basically with fields everywhere. So my childhood home here in these satellite images didn't even exist, and nor did the area where a lot of my friends lived. I went to school here. Neither of those schools existed. Yeah, very, very different to what it is, now. Absolutely nothing back here at all. As you can see, Brownsover didn't exist. So much of what I know from when I lived there just doesn't exist, or has been completely redeveloped. So it's been kind of cool to just kind of go back in time a little bit with this older satellite imagery and see how things have changed. But even here, I can show you, as I say, this is where I used to live. I believe it was this house here. I believe. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that there is my old house. If we have a look at my sort of sledding area when I was a kid, because this is all downhill, sort of flat along the top and then all downhill down here. You can see they started to get some trees in, and they started to plant some down here, but there weren't trees here when I was a kid, and they just started planting saplings and stuff when I was a kid in the late 80s, early 90s. And it's all kind of started to come in there, and when you look at what it looks like now it's Linnell Woods. It's just completely grown up. I don't know how nice it is around this area anymore, but I'd say I haven't been back since I left. But you can see there's no chance of sledding down here anymore. Not that there's snow anymore, unfortunately, but so it is nice to be able to go back in time and actually get more information on what this looked like closer to the period I'm trying to model, which includes a less built up Daventry rail freight area. Unfortunately, it kind of stops just before we get there on these images, so I can go forward another couple of years and we've got this here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do a search on this area around 1990-ish and see what was there, if I can, so I can model that accordingly. The plan is still to run the lines all the way down here to the split, past what is the rail freight area, into the Crick Road tunnel here, and into the Kilsby train tunnel here as well on this side. And then on this side, to run these lines here heading up towards Nuneaton, and these lines heading off towards Birmingham, and then I will probably end these lines, I don't know, somewhere maybe around here, maybe as we get towards Church Lawford. I don't know if I'll go out any further. I mean, that's still quite a nice long run on the other side of the station. And then these lines I'll probably run up to maybe not all the way up there. Maybe I'll just have them disappear into a tunnel somewhere here and use a little bit of artistic license. There isn't one for a very long way on this run. There is a little road bridge here. Maybe I could end it there. I don't know. But I don't want to take them too far that way, because it's already going to be quite a big, sprawling, long stretch, this layout. And so I don't want to go over the top with it. But let's bring that out of the way again. Zoom back in on the area that I'm working on, which is the eastern exit to the station. Just here. One thing I do need to do is apply changes and do a save, because I haven't done one for a little while. There we go. Found a couple of extra fun little mods to help with some scenery, including these rather funky, more traditional British signal buffers that you tend to see at stations. I was still stuck with the just old school wooden ones here for the sidings, but we have lots of sidings now. So if we come in from over here, there are 6 lines feeding in, but they all kind of break off and feed in, and this is the 3 which becomes 4 lines from the Nuneaton branch, joining up with the 2 lines from the Birmingham line, and then kind of merging together. There will be some point work I may well have to put in on this section here. I haven't got around to that yet. But we've got our sidings here. We've got this one that branches off, and this basically just feeds a load of sidings. So as this line comes in, it just feeds a load of sidings, and then eventually becomes a bit of a bypass line over here, which will then go off that way into some more sidings up there as well. And then from that, it all kind of branches off, and we've got more sidings up here, and I just need to finish this bit off where this goes up just here, as you can see. This little siding area, I just need to finish that bit off. But yeah, there's definitely some point work that I need to put in through here, but I haven't got around to that yet. Evening, Wayne. So, whereas before the station was all one giant curve, I've actually reconsidered that. Looking at the imagery a bit closer, I've decided to just kind of put a little sort of bend partway down the station and then flatten it out again. A lot of the lines do actually look pretty straight on the imagery now that I've got a better detailed, higher resolution imagery to work from. So, gonna go with that. I think it's going to be a lot easier to work with as well, especially when it comes to trying to merge these lines back together again. Nothing has run anywhere on this layout. That was put in purely just to try and figure out scale for the station platforms. Get a full rake of coaches for an Intercity 225. And still have, you know, good clearance on either side of the platform lengths. And then we'll have our DMU sidings in the middle. Only 2 of those are actual proper platform sidings. The 2 in the middle are just storage. I'll probably just have an engine on each of those, just parked up, or at least on one of them maybe. I will have some static wagons just lying around on some wagons. Again, if we go back to the imagery, you can see there's it looks like there's more, or they're bigger than they are because of the shadows, but we've got some wagons there, and then we've got some wagons on the line above it. We've also got some wagons there, and then on the line above, and we've also got some wagons here as well. So there will, and a couple just here as well. So there will be a little bit of rolling stock just there. That is, I think, actually a train, an active train. I think that's the engine there with then the freight behind it. Not 100% certain. But I don't know how much of the city, the town, I'm going to model in around the station. I am going to have the lower part of the station, so I can have the Murray Road Tunnel going underneath. And that's going to be somewhere about here, by the look of it. Yeah, spacing wise, that lines up pretty nicely to be about here. Right, so let's get back to putting some lines in. So I've been trying to merge these lines back through. And this is where we start to make the approach towards the flyover section, which will be here, which is what, the big project we did on the last version of the Rugby layout, which I still have. I haven't deleted it. But I did just feel that the scale wasn't quite right. It just felt a bit squashed in places. I wanted to try and just make it feel a little bit more natural. So that's why I'm redoing everything. What I do need to do actually is flip that point. Got that the wrong way round. This is where it gets tricky, trying to get things lined up. Points don't... there we go. Points don't always like to play ball. Sometimes they like to be silly buggers, but there we go. We've got that one lined up properly. Mind shortening that a bit. That angle just looks a little bit tight, so there's a way around that. If I delete that piece out and then take this piece and slide it back a little bit like so, that should be enough. We'll take a little bit of flexi, pre-painted so that it matches the style of track that I want, with the embankment style gravel ballast, a different shade of ballast, concrete sleepers, and slightly different coloured rails as well. And then we can reposition that for a more comfortable transition in. Yeah, there we go, that's a little bit better. Still slightly drifts to the left before turning right, but it's a lot less noticeable. I'm happy with that. So I need to bring this line around. And I'm going to need to start to curve it towards there we go, just a very slight movement in the curve. Again, that's facing the wrong way. One thing I have found is a good way to get points to behave a little bit better is to make sure that there's a connection on the other end. Just find it a little easier to force it into the rotation that I want if it's got a connection on both sides that I can slot it into. It usually takes a lot less effort to try and rotate it in. There we go. So that is obviously not going to connect. I need to pull it back. Get it to line up the way I want it. It's going to be even further back by the look of that. Evening, Bill. Looks like it might be something like that. Let's get a bit of flexi and have a look. Oh yeah, that's perfect. There we go. So we've got the inner sidings, or the inner platform sidings, coming onto the main line again. Now I need to bring these lines round. And again, we're going to need to start to curve everything round a little bit. Don't want that. Need a straight piece. No, that's more flexy. There's a straight piece. Get my spacing right. There we go. This is where it gets a little trickier because I'm manually spacing these lines at the moment. So they're all done by eye for this bit of spacing here. There we go. That one is going to bend off and go up into that area up there. So these are the two other lines that will come across, and we'll have these three initially. I think they will eventually merge down. I need to start to bring them a little bit closer to this one now. So if I take that piece and that piece, where's that curve I dropped in? There it is. If I start to curve these around, like so, so that these will start to converge closer to each other again. They have a set of points about here, actually, by the look of it. That's going to be awkward. If I can get that in just here, just before it curves around, that might make things a little easier. Connect up. There we go. Ah, damn it. Where's that piece gone? There it is. No, that's not it. It's gone walkabout. Sometimes bits of track end up in places where they're not supposed to be, and I have to go hunting for them. I accidentally dropped a piece way up in the air the other day, and I had to go looking for it, and it was outside of the bounds of the room completely, all the way up there. I don't know where that piece has gone. I don't see it anywhere. Yeah, no idea where that's gone. Hopefully it won't be an issue. So again, I'm going to have to take, in some cases, just a little bit of artistic license with some of these points. But that's about where I need that to be. Means I'm going to have to take that piece back and take it out. But before that, I'm going to leave it there so I can reposition this one with overlapping rails. And now I can push it back. So like there. Let's get that other piece and remove that. There we go. Let's get our flexi. Need to go back a little bit further. I think, or have I gone too far? I think I've gone too far. Yeah, that's better. That bit of flexi's just dropped through the floor somewhere. There it is. Better. Okay, so there's that point. Is there one a little bit before that? I just need to zoom in on this map a little bit. Yes, there is. Okay, so a little bit further back, I need to do that again. So let's take that piece out, and that piece, and that piece, and we'll get rid of that. There we go. And same again. There we go. I've got to be precise because it's not being snapped on. So I need to just make sure that the lines aren't going to cause a derailment. I had a quick look at someone's map earlier this afternoon, and it was just constant derailments on a certain area of the track. Like every single time they went over a certain area, just trains constantly derailed, and it's frustrating. Yeah, there we go. That looks nice and smooth. Lovely stuff. So it's about here that we're going to bend that line around and take it out that way. But before we get to that, I need to bring everything back to where it needs to be in terms of position over here. And this is the trouble with eyeballing it. Is when you have little gaps like this where nothing lines up and you can't snap, you have to start repositioning. It just starts to get a little bit messy. Okay, there we go. That's close enough, I think. Ew, that looks bad. Alright, let's take that piece out as well. That's better. And then I can get rid of that. Right, I need to... No, not that. No. There we go. That's one way around it. So at these points, this is where the bend happens. So now I need a curve like that. Let's place it there out of the way so it doesn't get reconfigured. Come on, now I can't build the line there. What's going on? There we go. So I can now put a parallel piece in there. Don't need that there anymore, or that. It's going to need another curve. I think that's enough of an angle. What I do also need is I need some extra sidings up here now. Let's start those there. Trying to decide how far back I want these to go. I think that's as far as I want them going. So right now, I'm putting in these three sidings up here. I'm going to run those along. This line here is the split that we've just put in. And they will go along and then join up over there. And that's what we're going to start doing just here. Over there. There we go. need to get these to merge together. That needs to happen about here. So this is going to need to come back a bit further yet. Let's see. I think I might need to space these lines out a bit, actually. Yeah, I need to space these lines out. Not too much, just a little bit. Just not going to have the space I need otherwise. Oh, come on, you bastard. I had you a moment ago. Damn you. There we go. So I've got it in the right place. It's not hooked up the way it needs to be. And now I need to connect these two lines together. Damn it. Sometimes this is just really more pain than is necessary. Trying to get everything to snap at the right angle. So I need to take that piece out. There we go. I think I'm going to have to push it back a bit as well. Come on, just snap. All right, let's just slide a piece over. Really prefer to have things actually properly connected. Again, it just reduces the chance of there being an issue with track work further down the line, but sometimes it just doesn't want to play ball. See what that looks like. Slightly wonky. Better. Alright, now I need a tight turn. Try and tighten that radius up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That does the job I need it to. Right, so this actually curves away a bit first. And then it'll curve back around onto that line. bit further. And then we need to merge those lines together. Come on, give me the rotation I want. There we go. Gap might be a bit far. Yeah, it's too far, it won't connect. Alright, let's leave that there for a second. Still too far. That should do it. There we go. It's not perfect, but it does exactly what it needs to. I need a lot more of this desk now. Stick a whole load of this down. Alright, that should do me for a little while. So getting close to where the birdcage goes. It's just past this set of points, but I do need to bring this line out a bit further first. These two lines are going to join up. And their join is just about here, just past that set of points. So let's make space for that. Take that piece out, grab a point. Again, we're going to have to do a flexi track connection, so Gonna need to put the points in somewhere about there. That needs to go back a bit further. And that's now too far forward that way. So I'm gonna have to move that one back. Bring that one down to about there. There we go, that's better. We're also going to need to reconnect up there. And reconnect up there. Okay, so this line now needs to connect up to this line as it starts to curve around a little bit. We're almost at the bird cage. These lines need to start curving out this way a bit more now as well. Still too spaced apart at the moment. There we go. Start to curve those lines in a bit. Gonna need to curve these lines in a bit as well. Want those to be nice, subtle curves. Very subtle. Okay, so this is where this now is going to merge across, join up with this line. So now that we started to curve that one in a bit, you can see the lines starting to converge. Just a little bit. We're going to tighten up that angle slightly. Can I stretch that gap and span that gap with a single piece of track? No, it's too long. Okay, I have a plan. It's not quite from the Baldric school of conning plans. Little black ellerjake there. What I can use though is this pieces of make weight in between. It won't actually be here, but it will give me something as a little bridge in between the junction, so I can then connect flexi to it. Shit. Well, it's not in the right position anyway, so better. And then I can remove that piece and then connect from there, like so. Ooh, that is very janky. Very janky. Do not like that. Where's my short piece? Oh, damn it. Get my size back. Oh, fuck it. Let's have a look at that. Still a little janky. Right, that's a bit smoother. That, though, looks like shit. Yeah, that is ugly. It's awkward. Oh, for God's sake. Alright. We can make it work by shortening that there. There we go. That is so much nicer. That's perfect. Okay, we get there in the end. Trial and error. It is the way. And again, we can start to just bend that ever so slightly inwards. And now I'm pretty much ready to actually place the bird cage. Just got to remember where it is. I think it's in track. No, it's not track. Here we go, track add-ons. No. Won't be scenery. Is it buildings? I can never remember where everything is. No. It's not going to be in terrain, I don't think. No. Doubt it's here. Where the hell is it? Ah, there we go. Final page. So the bird cage spans this gap here. Don't remember the height. That's certainly not high enough. It's definitely higher than that. I think it's about up here. Where is that? That's on that line. So I'm going to leave one more piece there. That might be it. That might just be the length of the birdcage. So the birdcage is all that remained up until the late 2000s of the double track girder box bridge that went over the top of Rugby Main Line, and that was Rugby Central Line. That was part of the Great Central Railway. Let me bring the satellite imagery back over. So the Great Central Railway, I believe there you can see there, that's the old Great Central Railway up there. Ran down here. And then there was a bridge over the canal, and that got taken out. And then the line came down and then went over the top of that, and then carried on here. This railway cutting here, this is the Great Central Railway. And then this here, it's all overgrown now completely. But when I was a kid, there was still bits of platform visible. But this was Rugby Central Station off the Great Central Railway. And that doesn't exist anymore. It was, I think, just 2-track all the way down here. And then that would carry on all the way out down the bottom there. And you can just still see the remnants of the Great Central Railway in places. Until we get to about here, and then it kind of just disappears entirely. Although I think this... I think, again, yeah, I think there we go. We've got the remnants of it here as well, by the look of it. Running all the way down here. Would have been a bridge of some kind there. Maybe a viaduct. Another bridge would have gone across there. Again, you can just about see the edge of where it used to be. Just there. And the Great Central here ran down here. And so it's all been ripped up. This is all part of the beaching axe, where they just ripped up most of the Great Central Railway. Over the Catesby Viaduct, that still exists, or it did. Let me see if it's still in existence now. Imagine it still is. Yeah, it still exists now. And then again, it keeps on coming down. You kind of lose it a bit here. And at that point, I don't know where it went from there. I think it's some, yeah, you can just about see it picking up again just here. That's Catesby. Around this way, down this way, through here. Mainline timber is on the old Great Central here, and then it merged, I think. Yeah, you had a crossing, a merging point here by the look of it. A line that went out that way and was connected up down here to this line that ran down here. I'm guessing that was another line that ran off that way, and then again down here. You can kind of make out the cuttings of where the line used to be. Becomes a little clearer from distance. So where is this? That's Helmdon. And then from there it ran down here to to Brackley. Through Brackley. And then down into Culvert down here. So it was a big old, yeah, it ran right through the heart of the country, the Great Central. Right, where are we? That's Coventry, so we're just over here. There we are. But yeah, that's all that's left. There is an old viaduct over here. I don't know what this was part of, whether this was part of the Great Central or not. No, that's still there. I remember that as a kid. Having a wander there over Clifton Brook. It would get a bit muddy around there sometimes, but you know, you could walk up and walk across the viaduct. That there is still in existence to this day. But we've got this bit put in here, and we merged that point there, and then it's about there, and then across that signal split that we just built just there, or that switch point there that we just put in, that the bridge spans. So if we move that out of the way again, come back here. We haven't quite got the positioning right. Could maybe change the angle a little bit more. Let's rotate it round a little bit more. But again, there has to be a degree of artistic license. I'm not trying to do a one-to-one scale or an exact replica. I'm trying to just get it as close as I can by eyeballing rather than trying to superimpose plans. I mean, I could import more images like this and then blow them up and then try and put them down and try and build track over the top of them, but I don't want to do that. I want to try and build it by hand and use that image and Google Maps or Google Earth Pro as a reference, so that I'm actually doing it myself. That's what I'd rather do. It'll make it more complicated and more time consuming, but ultimately for me it'll be more rewarding to have actually built it freehand. So now that that's in place, I need to bring the rest of the lines through. So we started curving that one in. By this point, the other lines need to be pretty close. So let me try and get some spacing put in so I can figure that out. Get a straight piece. Nope, that's flexi. There we go. If we connect that there, and then if I have that about there, Hibden Packins. And then again, that one. Have I got too many lines? I might have too many lines. Yes, because this center line actually merges with this one about the same point that one merges. So we go. Stop and get. There we go. Where is the flexi? There it is. It's a little severe. Because those lines are over here. They have got a lot of curving to do to get where they need to. So this is the line that's coming from the platform. So it's that line there that needs to come round to here. Yeah, there we go. Let's go from that piece there, I think. And then I can take that out and that out. Don't need that there or that there or that. I will keep that space. There we go. So the lines are starting to converge. This one goes a little bit wider. So that line's done its sort of wide bit down there, come back in and joined here, and then it goes a little bit wider down the bottom. And that's where we start to go into the lines here starting to climb for the embankment, so that we can build the crossover a bit further round. So I think that's as far as I want to go for this little bit here. Let's put this back over here. Take that out. And there we go. Starting to really take some shape now. A lot of the passing track work is really taking shape. We've got all of our sidings before and after the station, well, mainly before the station, are all pretty much done. There's a little bit of work left to do over there. I need to just finish off this bit up here. So let me have a look, actually. Just finishing that bit off before I call it a day. A closer look at the area. There we go. So, let's see, I've got my sidings here. I need another siding a little bit higher up. So, let's find a straight piece. Straight piece. Straight piece. There we go. Fine, perfect. I need to put my extra bit on each end like that, so I can try and get my siding to sit the way I want it to. But so far it is not. There we go. Oh, there is one other detail I can add in. There's a footbridge that goes over this. It's quite a long one. We can put that in as well. Short piece. I know there's one over here somewhere. There it is. Now I just need to stretch this up a little bit. One more. Of course it goes just off the edge. Of course. Alright. Let's trim it down a touch. Let's take our short piece. We'll put a couple of those in instead. Just the one, actually. Because I still need to cap the end like that. Right, so I need to build a footbridge. something a bit like that. But that's a bit wide. It's a much narrower footbridge than that. I don't want that. It's a shame that that's just curved, because I can't now build off the end of it without it doing that. If it was straight, that would have been perfect. That's too high. Let's put some supports down underneath this. Actually, no, I'll leave it. What can we use as a footbridge? Width-wise, that's the perfect width. Yeah, that's too big. And it's just not right as well. Let's have a quick look on the mod hub. See what is available. Anything? No. Alright. Just look bridge. I don't think there's going to be anything here. These are all train bridges, and I want a footbridge. Something that's pretty straightforward. I don't have to spend ages trying to faff and build, you know, in a lot of little pieces. But I don't think I'm going to see what I need. Yeah, a lot of people just like to make crash maps. And there's a ton of people making Sodor related maps as well. From Thomas the Tank Engine. Footbridge here is too big. Shame. That's quite a nice little looking little map. Looking through the maps to see if there's anything in there that is usable. This looks like it's just using vanilla assets. Maybe use that. Just don't want it to have the supports underneath. How do we close out of this? I can't see a close button. There we go. Just use the back button on my mouse. That's it for bridge props. It's not a lot. Ooh. Track style. No, again, it's just, there's nothing there. I'm going to have to build something. That's just going to be time consuming and a lot of parts involved. I was trying to keep down the amount of stuff I would have to build with very small fiddly pieces. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. Shame. Alright, well, that's, I think, a good place to end this one. Let me have a quick last look. See if there's anything else I could use. That cathedral looks like it's been ripped straight out of 40k. Most of that scenery does. Very gothic style. Yeah, that's the logging stuff. I'm going to have to do it using shapes. Which means trying to size everything and then get it all snapped and connected. Yeah, it's going to be time consuming. But I think that's the only option I've got left to me at this point. Unless I compromise and just put in something that looks nothing like what I'm after. Which is, you know, the lazy option. have to have a think about that. Let me save. All right, well, there we go. That is a progress report on the reimagining of Rugby Station. A lot of complicated track work over there. The redesigned station with the sidings, etc. over there. We've got the actual accurate position of the bird cage now. And then comes the complicated bit, is starting to work on the flyovers. We'll do, I think, both ends of those first before we start stretching the lines out too far. But yeah, there we go. That is it for tonight. I'll be back on Monday with the next round of F1 Manager. Monza, beginning of an Italy double header. So until then, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I'm Jim Bob, and I'll be back with more Rolling Line at some point, and with F1 Manager on Monday.